He was a serial killer who bragged about killing people, and he professed and confessed to be a demon.
He was that, bruh. If he wanted you out of there, he'll go do it himself on feet by himself.
I was happy as hell when I found out Vaughn was dead. I cooked for the whole day.
I was relieved for the community, man, because he was over there torturing them guys, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Hey everyone, it's Dominical, your favorite Silker, and as much as I figured I would love the rest of Silksong, I was not gonna let this blight town of an area slide. If you didn't breeze through it the first time around, it was gonna be your canon event of the game. The entire game up to that point and after would be a breeze for me personally. Savage Beastfly killed my family. I personally like to think Team Cherry spent 6 years delaying this game because they were out searching for remnants of King Von's dreads, like Sukuna's fingers. And you're wondering why would they do this? So that they could reincarnate O'Block's greatest and code his gene into anything that flies in this game. I'm gonna label all these type of enemies apprentices of the king himself. Moorwing himself was nerfed because of how potent the Von strain was. You see, I can only imagine how cheesed these fuck-ass devs were when they had the epiphany and thought to themselves, since the fans love Primal Aspid so much, we gotta bring back another. Hold on, you might be onto something. That's a great idea! And so they said,
I'm with that.
take away the movement telegraphs, give him the flight path of a Flappy Bird, and make this bird occasionally plop down on the ground in case a player was actually trying to hit it. And as annoying as these birds that I hate are, Team Cherry locked in creating the most diabolical flying enemies in this game. They making him a part of Weave Nation now. Me personally, if I ever got a hold of this fool, I'm thundercunting it into oblivion. I can guarantee you this much. The devs, they've played Elden Ring, saw how fucking annoying flying mobs are in that game, and they said, yes! If you've never played it, all you gotta know is that no matter the caliber of the avian, bats and even hawks too, they are the biggest rage baiters. God forbid you only have a melee weapon in hand too, because if what you got was a swing and a miss a couple times in a row, because of how they be moving, twin, just blow your shit smooth off. It is the exact same thing with these Flappy Bird fucks. All they do is move. You jump too high, you get clipped. You jump too low, brother, that's an airball. You could be on some nonchalant shit trying to heal, and Primal Aspid 2.0 might just use you as a bench. You could be trying to run one down, and they remember that they can just change their flight path and fly right into you. They pump fake for the love of the game. What's that? You want to try and pogo strat? Fuck you. As embarrassing as it is, I spent almost longer in this gauntlet room than I did fighting Orphan Akos or Millennia. Let that sink in. Yes, you heard me correctly. They were smoking my pack for a fat minute. And while I won't deny the skill issue on my end, I gotta say a couple things unique to my experience. 1. Not having any shell shards for shit in Greymoor, and by extension 0 tool abilities to use, really chopped my shit hard. 2. And this one is the real kicker that I have not seen a soul mention yet when it comes to the unique Greymoor experience. If you leave Chakra and her little camp to explore the left side of Greymoor, she will up and leave and take the resting spot away with her. ¿Y yo qué?
¿Dónde estás?
Estoy en North Liberty.
¿Haciendo qué?
Pero ando.
Oh my god. So now I'm left with an ultimatum. Run back from the bench and halfway home and run past at least 10 enemies without getting chipped. Or take the springs from far fields. Man, regardless, the run back takes almost a minute from either loc. So imagine my disappointment having faced a boss like 4th Chorus, thought the game was peak, and then was forced to have a Lost Isolate certified run back because I left Chakra unattended. Yes, thank you Dark Souls. And speaking of 4th Chorus, we moving on to Moorwing. If Hornet had a gun, I promise you I am airing him out. Moorwing is by no means a difficult boss fight either, that's the crazy part. And yet somehow this is the boss I spent the longest on in my entire playthrough, clocking it at almost 2 hours. Fraud Minical, you're washed, bud. And for me, it just goes back to my problem with flying enemies in general, except Goober here does 2 mask damage, and for some reason, I had an obsession with clipping into him every time I got to phase 3. The contact damage really did me in bad. Worst case scenario, you could be awkwardly right beneath Moorwing when it staggers and the boss might fall on top of you. That's minus 2 mask. I could be having the cleanest run of my life, and it was most of them to be honest. And And once again, I just had no shell shards for the fight, so I just suffered, and I didn't want to farm enemies beforehand.
You're a pussy.
Then you've got the fuck ass saws. It don't matter how distant you think you might be, because somehow that saw still don't hit. I've seen a lot of people use Reapers Crest as their crutch and suggestion against Moorwing, and me personally, I just didn't find it till after I beat the boss. And that run back had me withered. Because if this spear chucking... Hold on. If this pitchfork wielding fuck hit me, or if I clipped into those flying rats on the way down... Silksong has somehow been the game to infuriate me more than anything else I've played this year. And that's honestly impressive when I put that shit next to Apex.
Are we...
Beyond Greymoor and even my unique runback situation to those birds, I was surprised to see this game get laced with Dark Souls tier runbacks. They're intended by design, like absolutely, but are they fun? That kind of depends on the runback in question, but generally for me, no, they're kind of abysmal. I'll give a quick little spoiler-free review for those who are interested. Silksong's combat is absolutely my personal highlight, and there's definitely some insane skill expression and experimentation with movement to be explored in this game. It's kind of mind-blowing how they've been able to build so much on the simplicity of its predecessor's combat system and integrate a lot more nuance in how you can play the game diversely from others. The game is also much larger than I ever anticipated, man, with a lot of hidden paths and secrets only paranoid FromSoft fans and OG Hollow Knight fans would go out of their way to seek by hitting every wall possible. To me, what puts Silksong on scale to a one-of-a-kind type of game is the fact that everyone's journey is gonna be unique. A good sum of players and myself struggled throughout Greymoor, while others got through it like nothing. Maybe I killed Grohl in one attempt and died a couple times on the way discovering the boss location, and maybe you died to Grohl 1,000 times, you know? Or maybe you abused the Architect Crest moving like Moon Knight in that one gauntlet fight in the Citadel, where others probably had no shell shards and used a different crest for their build and strategy. There is no linear relationship of experiences with this game, and I love it. And to further give its combat the flowers it deserves, the pinnacle of certain boss fights, especially in its late game, much like Hollow Knight, are just so ecstatic and high octane, once again just meshing super well with the emphasis and movement skill expression from the player. With these bars set so high in comparison to Hollow Knight, I do believe Silksong has lows its predecessor didn't even have, diluting its super nuanced combat system with instances of artificial difficulty or just straight up tedium. And I love difficult games, don't get me wrong, but it's what makes them difficult that can make or break my experience, personally speaking. A fun, intricately designed boss fight can feel like a drag when you've got an abysmal runback right behind it. And don't get it twisted either, I appreciate a runback that requires you to use everything in your kit to optimize your platforming tech in order to get back to the fight efficiently, as that can be just as engaging as fighting the boss itself. But when you get a swarm of enemies right behind that runback to chip you or ruin your momentum, it just becomes a chore and by extension not fun. Then there's the fact that every other basic mob can hurt you just as much as a boss fight can, and to me that just feels redundant at the end of the day. If you were to ask me which game I prefer between the both of them, and this is my hottest take yet, I think I prefer Hollow Knight over Silksong. And it's as simple as this: one has Nightmare King Grim, and the other one doesn't. Yes, Nightmare King Grim is my top 15 boss fights of all time. The glaze never stops. Alright, that's enough yapping for this video though. How did y'all experience Silksong's O-Block? I want to see you guys comment about your personal horror stories or notable moments. I still can't believe I spent so long in Greymoor, because I swear on day one release, I might have been the first person there and somehow the last person to leave. And I never spent more than like 8 attempts on any actual main boss or onslaught or the gauntlet fights in the whole game than I did with those stupid ass birds in Moorwing. Until I run it back for a second playthrough, I know that in my heart, I just wasn't built for Greymoor, bruh. If you liked the video, show the love, and on that note, thank you to everyone who discovered my channel from that short that popped off a couple weeks ago. Like, hey, the algorithm could go about promoting the stuff that actually takes hella time to, make and edit, but whatever, I appreciate it. For my next video, the ultimate ban for Game of the Year, because woohoo, we are stacked with absolute bangers this year. And do me a favor, go ahead and peep the art pages for some Silksong art and other projects that I do. Till then, I'll catch y'all in the next flick.